Hi there, Larry Seitz here in Larry City, running for City Council, uh, Alder Person position on April 4th. Hope you vote for me then. All right, today I'm going to talk first about my cap. It says Beretta USA. I got this in California cheap, like I did all my caps. Some of them I paid like only 25 cents. I never paid more than $1 per cap. I'm the kind of person that likes to reuse things, be economical, and that's the type of person I'll be for the city. All right, but this cap is Beretta is an Italian manufacturer of hand tools for government employees, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But first thing I want to talk about, and I haven't got this in detail, so I'm going to wing it mostly. I do have an outline. I'm kind of busy today, and I got several things to do. And I want to go tonight with my sister over to Montrose to that fish fry thing. So I got to be done with everything by 5 o'clock. All right. So uh, our founding government documents say that everybody has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It doesn't guarantee that everybody's going to be happy or that everybody's going to be equal, and trying to make everybody happy, I think, is just yeah, there's no guarantee that everybody's going to be wind up having an equal life. But right now, I think people are trying to keep, I mean, the establishment is trying to keep people fat, dumb, and happy, uh, which means distracted from what's going on around them. But uh, we have the First Amendment, which is about freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment, which is about freedom to protect ourselves and enforce the right to change the social order. And it talks about that in the Constitution. So uh, when I went to school, they taught us about things like the Magna Carta. And I don't have all the details in front of me, but basically, there's a bottoms up movement by the small business of the time to in, um, get the tops down government, which would mean kings back then, to get more freedoms for the people. And they basically coerced the the powers that be to give them those freedoms because they would not support them if they didn't. So that's one of the first instances of a bottoms up movement that took back power from the ruling elite. Also, uh, the Osage Indians, which were from this area, had freedoms, three ancient freedoms: the freedom to move, the freedom to disobey people that tried to order them around, and the freedom to create and or revise their social contracts. And they did that through consensus, discussion amongst themselves, and till they came to something that was more or less acceptable to all the people. And I think that's what we ought to have in the city of Larry City and elsewhere within the county. Ever since the European people started coming into the North American continent around the 1500s, uh, they wanted to enforce top down rulership, uh, and they used the myth that societies progressed, civilizations suppressed, so moved into civilization and uh, industrialization and all that stuff because they were top down organized and they had a elite ruling class, and that you had to have that in order to succeed as a society. But um, the Osage, in general, the North American natives, the Indians, they didn't have that. They, they had a more egalitarian and society, and they everybody participated in it. Um, so the um, when the Europeans came over here, they basically tried to make the natives as savages and not having any civilization, not knowing how to do anything. But that was false. In fact, the Osage Indians had a delegation go to Europe, I think it was Paris, and explain how their society worked. And that is part of the basis for the founding of the United States of America. So moving on, the early 1900s, there was bottoms-up unions that actually got things for the people. They got better wages, working conditions, sanitation, and in fact, most diseases were virtually eradicated before the vaccine started. So in the 50s, the elites sidetracked those bottoms-up movements. The left took over the unions and coerced them into doing what they wanted. Before that, there were thousands of strikes and protests and stuff like that. At the same time, the right came in and basically claimed that everybody who was for workers was a communist, and they had that scare about anybody who was in the government that was for the people was a communist. And over time, the establishment has put in fake leaders to sidetrack movements, just like the unions and the communist scare. In India, there was that Gandhi guy. He wasn't from India. He was brought in to sidetrack the freedom movement that they had there, the caste system. They were trying to break that. And then moving on to the civil rights movements of the black people, Martin Luther King was a setup to not disillusion the people, but to make them think that he was doing something for them. He said he had a dream. Well, the lower classes, including the blacks, they didn't want a dream. They wanted infrastructure. They wanted to keep on doing what they had done as far as bottoms-up movements. So I want to be talking about these kind of things at my Thursday meetings on the 16th, 23rd, and 30th at 9:30 and 6:30 over in the Larry City Community Room. And I'll be hosting a live video of speakers, not me, of a movement that I'm a part of, the Truth, Freedom, Health movement. It's an international movement, and some of the people will be talking about that there and these kind of subjects. And I will be putting out advertisements and the news briefs starting today. Hopefully, it should come out in the Courier and in the Buyer's Guide. And I'll probably be doing some display ads in the coming weeks before the election. So I ask for your help. I ask for your vote. I ask for you to help me out by going to my social media channels, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, because that helps me get a better social score, and more people will be able to see those videos. So it's a little bit longer than usual, but I thank you for your attention, and I'll see you again tomorrow.